Hello, boys and girls. We're going to do something now I think you'd like. We're going to have a story. Can you see that? Story? Sure, I knew you could. This is called Justin's Very Own Drum. This is a story I wrote about 4 years ago. It's about a boy who wants to play the drums. Look at that. I think that's Justin there. That's probably his mother. Can you see that there? Sure. Well, let's get started here. There's not very many pictures in this, but when there are, I'll go ahead and show them to you. It's mostly words. But right on the front we have a picture right here. Justin holding his drumsticks up. Little dog, his name's Gladys. There's a little bird right there. Sure. That looks good. Looks like a happy story. Let's go. All right. Justin is excited. He just returned to school last week and is now in the 4th grade. Tonight, a man from Mission Music will be visiting Justin's school and will be bringing several different musical instruments to show the students and their parents. These instruments are the kind that are played in the school band. Justin wants to be in band very badly. Ever since he was little, Justin has wanted to play drums. There's Justin there with his mom and dad. Looks like a happy family, doesn't it? Sure. After dinner, Justin went with his mom and dad to the school. When they got to the multi-purpose room, there were already a lot of other kids there with their parents. Justin saw his friend from class, Devin, and walked over to him. "Hey, Devin, what instrument do you want to play?" Justin asked. "Dunno," Devin said. "I think maybe the trumpet." "Cool," Justin said. "I really want to play the drums." "They only have one drum in the band," Devin said. "It's called the snare drum." "Well, as long as I can play it, I don't care what it's called," Justin said. The man from the music store called everyone over to take a seat. It was 7 o'clock and time to start the meeting. The man said his name was Bob and that he was the manager of the music store. Justin thought that Bob seemed like a nice man, and when he talked, he didn't sound all tired and bored like Justin's social studies teacher. He used a lot of big words that Justin didn't understand, but Justin's mom and dad seemed to be interested in what Bob was saying. At the end of the meeting, Bob said, "Well now, if those of you who are interested will line up here to my left, I'll let your child try out his or her favorite instrument." Justin got very excited and hurried over to the line ahead of his parents. Justin counted the students ahead of him in line. He was 5th in line. There's Justin and his friend, and Bob, the music store manager there. The first in line was Derek. He was in Justin's science class. Bob asked Derek which instrument he most wanted to try. "The trombone," Derek answered. Bob took a trombone out of its case and played a little tune on it. Derek and the other boys and girls in line smiled when they heard it. The sound it made reminded Justin of an elephant walking around the zoo. Bob showed Derek how to hold the trombone and said, "Here, now you try. You just put your lips together and go like this." Bob made a sound that made all of the children giggle, as well as a few of the parents. Justin thought it sounded just like the noise that he makes at his big sister when she makes him mad. Derek put his mouth up to the mouthpiece and did as Bob told him. He took a deep breath and he did it. He played the trombone. Bob said, "Good, now try it again." This time Derek blew into it for a longer time, and while he did, Bob moved the slide part of the trombone downward. The note he played went lower. Derek was very excited and told his parents that he wanted to play the trombone. That's Derek there in the trombone there. Children are listening along, and there's Bob. That looks like fun. The next one up was a girl called Jenny. Justin didn't know her. She told Bob that she wanted to try the clarinet. Bob took a clarinet out of its case. It was black and shiny and had silver keys. Bob told Jenny, "Now this instrument is a bit tricky to play. It's part of the woodwind family, and its sound is made by blowing into a mouthpiece that uses a thin shaved piece of wood called a reed. He showed Jenny how to blow it by letting his upper teeth rest gently on the top part of the plastic mouthpiece while biting gently on the bottom part where the reed is with his lower lip. Like that. Now, Bob said, you blow into it while using your tongue and pretending to say toot, toot, toot. As Jenny did this, Bob worked the keys for her, and what came out was Mary Had a Little Lamb. Jenny was so excited that she actually had played a tune. She told her parents, I want to play the clarinet. There's Bob helping Jenny with the clarinet there. Next in line was Justin's friend Devin. Devin told Bob, I want to play the trumpet. All right then, Bob said. You sure seem to know which instrument you like the best. Bob took a trumpet out of its case and held it up to his lips. It was shiny and gold. Justin thought it looked cool, and if he didn't want to play the drums so badly, he would play the trumpet. Bob took a deep breath and played the song that Justin knew from watching old army movies on TV with his dad. When Bob finished, everyone in line clapped. They must have all known the song too. Bob told Devin, now remember the sound I told Derek to make in order to play the trombone? Well, you make the same sound to play the trumpet, only you have to squeeze your lips together tighter to make a higher sound. Bob did this and Devin laughed because it sounded like a funny noise that they made on cartoons. Bob put the trumpet up to Devin's mouth and told him to try it. Devin took a deep breath and blew as hard as he could. He played a note on the trumpet all by himself. Very good, Bob said. Now do it again. Devin did it again, and this time Bob pressed the 3 buttons on top of the trumpet in a pattern that made it play a tune that sounded like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Devin and his parents laughed, and Devin said, I really want to play the trumpet. There he is, Devin with his trumpet there. That's his friend looking on. Megan was up next. Justin knew her from science class and lunch. He liked Megan a lot. Well, hello, little cutie, Bob said. What would you like to try to play? I'd like to try the flute, please, sir, Megan answered. And so you shall, Bob said. A good choice, too. I think it suits you. Bob gently took a flute from its case and raised it to his lips. It was skinny and long and silver. Its color reminded Justin of a brand new dime. Can you see that? Dime? Sure. Bob played a jazzy tune on it, and that Justin thought sounded like a song on one of his dad's old-fashioned record albums. Now it's your turn, Megan, Bob said. Just relax your lips, make a little smile, and pretend to say toot toot, but make the air go down toward your chin over your bottom lip. Bob placed the mouthpiece on Megan's chin below her lip. Megan blew into it as Bob pressed the keys. This made a do-re-mi scale. Megan looked at Bob with wide eyes and smiled. Then she turned to her mom and dad and said, I want to play the flute. Oh, I forgot to show you the picture. There's Megan with the flute there. Her mom and dad looking on. They're happy she can play. Justin was very excited now because at last it was his turn. Before Bob could even ask him, Justin said, I want to play the drum. Bob laughed and said, I bet you do. Bob already had a snare drum out of its case and set up on a drum stand. It was shiny and made out of a silver-colored metal that Bob said was stainless steel. There was a pair of drumsticks lying on top of the drum. Bob picked them up and showed Justin the proper way to hold them. I'm going to show you the match grip because when you're young and just starting like you are, it's easier than the traditional grip, Bob said. He held the sticks firmly but gently between his thumbs and forefingers, with the other fingers curled loosely around the ends of the sticks and his palms facing the floor. Now, Bob said, you hit the drum by bending your wrist up and bringing them down, not by bending your elbow or using your whole arm. You don't have to hit the drum hard to make a loud sound. Bob did this, and Justin was surprised at how loud it was because it didn't look like Bob had hit it very hard at all. Then Bob played a rhythm that reminded Justin of soldiers marching. Well, Justin, Bob said, are you ready to give it a try? Oh, yeah, Justin said. There's Justin with the drum. He looks so happy. He's always wanted to play the drum. His mom's looking by there. Bob handed the drumsticks to Justin, who held them the way Bob had showed him. Then he tried to play the rhythm part that Bob had played. Justin's dad laughed and his mom clapped. "That was very good," Bob said. "I think you're a natural." Justin grinned and looked at his mom and dad. His mom sighed and looked at his dad. "I don't know," she said. "It'll be awfully loud in the house." "I figured you'd say that," Bob said. "That's why we include a practice pad." He opened the drum case and took out a black rubber round thing that looked like a big floppy pancake, only it was about an inch thick in the middle. It was the same width of the snare drum. Bob placed it on top of the drum head and hit the middle part with the sticks. Justin could hear the drum, but it sounded like someone had put a thick towel over it. Bob played the same rhythm he had earlier and looked over at Justin's mom. "Is that a bit better?" he asked. "Much better," his mom answered. "Now, what about the cost?" Justin's dad asked Bob. "Well, I think you're going to be a bit surprised," Bob said. He picked up a sheet of paper and gave it to Justin's dad to look over. Here's Bob talking to Justin's dad. "Instead of just buying the drum right away, you can pay a low monthly payment each month and just rent it. Then once Justin's been playing it a few months and is sure he wants to stick with it, you might decide that you want to buy it. If so, we'll apply all of the payments that you've made to the cost of the drum. Then all you have to do is pay the rest of it, and the drum will be all yours." "You mean all mine," Justin said. Bob laughed and said, "Yes, Justin, your very own drum." That's the title of the book, isn't it? Sure. Justin's very own drum. All right, we're about to the end now, boys and girls. Thank you for being patient. That night, Justin could hardly get to sleep because he was so excited. Tomorrow, when his dad got home from work, he was going to take Justin to the music store to rent Justin's very own drum. It would be a brand new drum and would be all ready to play in its own case with a stand, a practice pad, and a new pair of drumsticks. Justin fell asleep with a smile on his face and dreamt about, you guessed it, his very own drum. There he is going to the music store to pick out the drum with his dad the next day. Right? That was a very good book, I think, boys and girls. Thank you for being so patient. Good night.